Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, welcome to News Hour. Coming up in this edition, fire incident at the Ministry of Mines leaves some documents in the office of the minister burned. Environment Protection Agency with Office of National Security engages disaster-prone communities on environmental disasters. Assistant Director of Research, Bank of Sierra Leone says dollarization has been an internal factor negatively affecting the national economy. And Chief Justice Abdullah Chad launches 2016 to 2021 strategic plan of the judiciary. All these stories and more, including business and sports, in this edition of News Hour. A fire incident at the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources, UE building in Freetown, has caused damage to the office of the Minister, the Honorable Minkai Lumansari. It could be recalled that 2015 ended with several fire disasters in government institutions, and this is not the first time fire is causing damage in offices at UE building. The Environment Protection Agency, with Office of National Security, has continued their community engagements in disaster-prone areas across the country. This is to prepare the minds of persons living in these communities of the consequences of stay there, as the rains are now here. It could be recalled that flood disasters in September last year led several deaths and huge financial loss. Some 30 communities in the western area alone have been identified as disaster-prone areas. Let's now join Sheku Smiler for that report.
With last year's flood disaster in mind, torrential rains can cause flooding, and the prayer now is for divine intervention. However, what many believe is that man's activity needs to be controlled, as the attitude of humans to the environment is most times responsible for environmental disasters. Deforestation, improper disposal of waste, banking or blocking of waterways are among reasons for flooding. Sierra Leone is vulnerable to climate change, which has been endorsed by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. In 2014, Sierra Leone was identified as the third most vulnerable country to climate change. And in 2015, Sierra Leone further dropped to the second most vulnerable country to climate change, which indicates non-improvement. Because of global warming, the ice belt is melting, which can lead to sea level rise. This makes communities along the coast vulnerable to flooding. The Environment Protection Agency and the Office of National Security have embarked on a nationwide campaign in disaster-prone areas. This campaign has started in the capital, Freetown, and several communities have been visited by the Environment Protection Agency and ONS. Also, grassroots women have been talking to people in these communities in different local languages. The rains are here, and people should be aware of last year's flooding that left several people dead and many homeless. Stop cutting trees, blocking waterways, depositing rubbish into the drainages, and banking to erect structures along the coast have been among key messages from EPA and ONS.
The way a man walk the old way environment, now don't make things they happen like how they happen so. One thing about the environment, when you protect it, they protect you, but when you not protect it, they protect you. First they get Hamatan, now forget Hamatan self now. You know they know self say now Hamatan this. At the beginning, now say for the bond, they don't know it's in a matter. The place like how it they warm, so if you continue, may you to not time to the go to bed, when they wear clothes because of the hot. If the place continue for hot, so say it pass back after 5-10 years, there's small picking away sit down, so they young can picking out then get for day.
Then disaster prone areas there, what Bookman call disaster prone area, when how they live on a side away, if Bokuboko income, then they affect, especially with flooding. The meteorological department, the department within a salon, the government said, then they for study the weather. The recent report we just put about 2 weeks ago now that this year, the rain season, the rain not for till, you need it to rain not for go the collect all day. It can't short, but very high intensity. What does that mean? It can't short, but it can very, very heavy, with heavy power. And we know say not to that rain they can all the way the trees will cause problem, not so. Now that we can short number is September 16 last year, just 1 hour 30 minutes. We see what happened, not so. When the rain then they according to the meteorological department, now they then say for happen this year.
Among communities that have been targeted so far are Crabtown, Krube, Mamila, Colbert, Oloshoro, Big Wharf, Susan's Bay, Potty Wharf, Rukupa Wharf, Hamilton, and Funkia Godrich. Some markets have also been targeted by EPA and ONS. Reporting for SLBC News, I'm Sheku Smaila.
The Assistant Director of Research at the Bank of Sierra Leone, Molai Bangura, has told journalists at the Ministry of Information and Communications weekly press briefing that dollarization has been an internal factor negatively affecting the national economy. Let's now join Abdul Samsise for that report. We cannot bring you that report due to some technical faults. The Chief Justice of Sierra Leone, Abdoulaye Cham, has launched the strategic plan of the judiciary for 2016 to 2021 at Court Number 1, Law Court Building in Freetown. The strategic plan entails ways to address the challenges affecting the judiciary in the country and the ways to take the court to higher levels. Chief Justice Cham stressed that the implementation of the strategic plan has already started. He called on partners and government to fund the plan, pointing out that it needs lots of resources to actualize it. He reaffirmed his commitment to improving the judiciary. The Director of Budget, Ministry of Finance and Economic Development, Matthew Jinji, called on the judiciary to work with his ministry to prepare a bill that will make it compulsory to allocate 0.5% of the national budget to the judiciary. Currently, Matthew Dingy went on, the yearly allocation of money for the judiciary is less than 7 billion leones. Lawyers and judges present called on the judiciary to stop delaying judgments, especially on land cases, improve on note-taking, and create a website for the judiciary. The Reform Committee Chair, Justice Edmund Edwards, said the strategic plan stated ways of improving the judiciary, stressing that there are 25 judges in the country, serving more than 7 million people in the country. The new country coordinator of USAID has called on the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Samura Kamara, at his Toil office in Freetown. USAID is an independent agency that enhances economic development and provides humanitarian assistance around the world in support of the foreign policy goals of the United States Let's now join Hawana Conte for that report.
Supports long-term and equitable economic growth and advances U.S. foreign policy objectives by supporting economic growth, agriculture and trade, global health and democracy, conflict prevention and humanitarian assistance. Presenting the envoy, the U.S. ambassador to Sierra Leone, John Hoover, spoke of U.S. aid supports to Sierra Leone and lauded government's development efforts.
But it makes teachers arrive, I think, all more momentous and meaningful for us. And she'll be here for at least a couple of years to ensure that our USAID programs are completely synced up with the government's own, your government's development efforts, including the post-Ebola recovery plan, which the President launched on Monday, and with the longer-term development for the Agenda for Prosperity.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Samura Kamara, said the coming of the U.S. aid country coordinator is timely, citing the launch of the President's recovery priorities, which he said complements the Agenda for Prosperity. He said they are aware of the role U.S. aid is playing in Sierra Leone's development drive and pledged their commitment to U.S. aid.
We have continuity, we have a strong but certainly we were very much aware and the role of USAID. USAID is, despite the small age, it has always become a household name, especially in the areas of intervention in the past.
Country coordinator Khadijat Monjindi spoke of U.S. aid projects in Bo, Kenema and Tonkolili and disclosed plans by our organization towards the country's recovery priorities. In another engagement, the new FAO representative to Sierra Leone, Yambenyi Tipo, presented a letters of credence to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Samura Kamara. Madam Tipo said she is happy for the success of the Ebola fight and development taking place in the country's post-Ebola recovery drive.
Trying to put forward a response plan spearheaded by the President of the country, and it's a very serious commitment. FAO is truly committed to support this initiative through our country program.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Dr. Samura Kamara, recognized FAO contributions to Sierra Leone's development drive. He assured the envoy of their support and wished her well in her tour of duty. FAO has supported Sierra Leone's agriculture, health, trade, and technical cooperation, among others. I want to continue reporting for SLBC TV News.
National Mineral Agency, with support from the World Bank and DFID, has launched the country's Geodata information management system, designed to attract investors, provide support and guidance to mining companies in the country. The Geodata information management system was set up by a German consulting firm, GAFAG. As Ibrahim Samuel reports, the launching took place at the Miata Conference Hall in Freetown.
The project coordinator, Extractive Industry Technical Assistant Project Mustafa Jibril, said the Geodata Information Management System is an important milestone in supporting the government's development agenda, in creating an enabling environment for mineral sector investment and ensuring transparency and accountability in the minerals sector in accordance with best practice.
Total project cost is $11.35 million, with the World Bank contribution of $8 million and the DFID contribution of $3.35 million.
The Director General of the National Minerals Agency, Sawande, said the new Geodata Information Management System will serve as a platform to promote the mining sector, attract investment into the sector, and provide support and guidance to mining companies. He said the system will directly and indirectly help to achieve the core 6 strategic objectives. Mr. Wonde lauded the World Bank and DFID for providing the funds for the project.
The government revenue from the mining sector in 2014 amounted to 386 billion leones, representing 18% of total revenue collected by the NRA. This contribution declined significantly in 2015 due to the shutdown of the iron ore mines. As I stand here before you this morning, I'm happy to inform you that the Tonkolili iron ore mine is now back in full operation.
Launching the project, the Deputy Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Abdul Ignosin Kuruma, said since they took governance in 2007, the Mines Ministry has undertaken a number of reforms in the mine sector, which he said resulted in effective management of the country's minerals wealth. Mr. Kuruma described the establishment of the Geodata information system as a testament of the desire of the Mines Ministry to ensure that the mineral sector plays its rightful role as the engine for economic growth.
We are confident that the Geodata information management system will significantly contribute to making this a reality. On behalf of the Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Honorable Alaji Minkayo Mansare, it is my pleasure to formally launch, for the first time in the history of our country, the Sierra Leone Geodata Information Management System.
The Geodata Information Management System is expected to improve the way the National Minerals Agency collects and manages data, monitors and regulates the mining sector. It was designed to capture, store, manipulate, analyze and present all types of geodata and allows users to interact with the system to get useful information.
The Sierra Leone Maritime Administration has started training on the safety of non-conventional ships and the review of maritime legislation. The forum is coming at a time when the country is challenged with sea transportation. The maritime legislation review is expected to improve on the safety of passengers and their properties. Here is the report read by Anne-Marie Gigbai.
The session on the maritime legislation review is being done at a time when ferries are faulty. However, the Minister of Transport and Aviation has spoken of the immediate plans to have other ferries through partnership arrangements in order to ensure passengers have access to a worthy sea transportation. Executive Director of Maritime Administration, Alhaji Wura Jallo, says that the workshop is being held at a time when there is an increase in challenges in the country's inland water transport system. He adds that what makes it challenging is that inland water transportation is non-conventional vessels, since they do not have the registered tone for the application of any convention provision. He spoke about their commitment to ensure water transportation is safe and seaworthy.
We have a lot of fishing vessels in our waters, and it is a responsibility to make sure that they are in compliance with relevant provisions in various instruments. We are very much aware of our role in making sure that all our vessels comply with the standards and set out in the regulations and should be to the satisfaction of the administration. I am very sure that with the caliber of consultant present here from the IMO, SLA will be provided with additional capacity to handle issues relating to vessel safety.
The Minister of Transport and Aviation, Balogun Kuruma, spoke about the problem of the ferries. He adds that government, through his ministry, is currently working hard to replace the aging ferries with new ones through a public-private partnership arrangement. He says in the coming years, they envisage an increase in vessels traffic due to the economic growth forecast. According to the Transport and Aviation Minister, upon the completion of the legislation review, it is expected that the Sierra Leone Maritime Administration should be able to formulate and implement the appropriate regulations for our viable inland water transport system. Mr. Kurma explains that the Maritime Legislation Review cannot be overemphasized, as it is the backbone for the implementation of maritime conventions. He told the gathering that he had no doubt on the present Maritime Executive Director and his chairman to transform the institution to another level. He adds that they are committed as a government to provide the necessary political will. The International Maritime Administration representative, William Azo, says that they have come with the best experts on maritime issues for Sierra Leone to engage ideas and learn new techniques that could help the country get good maritime legislation for effective sea safety. He calls on the administration of Maritime to show more interest and be taking part in all the activities of the International Maritime, so that they will be knowledgeable about the current happenings and developments. Chairman of the program, consultant for the Maritime Administration, Tox Taylor, spoke about the challenges facing small boats and ferries, as most of them are not comfortable in making the crossing from the airports. He expressed the hope that the consultants from the International Maritime Administration are expected to advise and make recommendations to ensure the enhancement of safety of the inland water transportation. Board chairman of the Maritime Administration also made valuable contributions.
The 6th African Digital TV Development Seminar in Beijing, China, organized by StarTimes, is underway. The seminar is focused on making digital TV more accessible to users. It will also provide reliable decision-making basis for African governments to be able to develop policies and regulations for digitalization and post-digitalization industry development. Over 140 officials in broadcasting and television institutions from 41 African and Asian countries, among whom 30 ministerial representatives are also attending, of which Sierra Leone's Minister of Information and Communications, Mohamed Bangura, Ambassador Alimami Philip Kuruma, SLBC's Director General, Elvis Gbanabom Halwell, Deputy Director of Communications in charge of e-governance, and the Embassy's Press Attaché, John Mbemba Sise, are in attendance. Sierra Leone, through the Information Minister, is currently engaging StarTimes in migrating the country from analog to digital television. Most countries are putting in place strategies to transmitting their broadcast sectors from analog to digital in a bid to take advantage of the dividends that the new digital opportunities present. The transition from analog to digital broadcasting is expected to help nations create opportunities for the provision of ICT applications and multimedia services, and also contribute to the efficient use of spectrum and pave the way for digital dividend. The Safoko Limba Descendants Union has launched an education trust fund at the basement of the National Pentecostal Church at Congo Town, with the view of promoting quality education among the membership of the union. Let's now join Abdul Samsisi again.
Senior pathologist Dr. Owis Kroma said the trust fund will be used to support the needy and other vulnerable persons in the society. He also pledged the sum of 5 million leones as a show of commitment towards the development of the Safoko Limba Descendants Union. According to Mr. Kroma, the first 2 children who will perform excellently in their work will benefit from the Education Trust Fund. Bishop Tamba Kroma, in his keynote address, called for brotherly love to prevail among members of the union. Bishop Kroma intimated that fighting jealousy and hatred are vices that can demotivate members of the Safroko Limba Descendant Union. He urged the membership to be united as the launching of the union is to help the needy and promote peace and unity among the ethnic Safroko Limba tribe. For SLBC News, Abdul Samsisi reporting.
The Western District Council of the Assemblies of God Church, Sierra Leone, has started its 2016 convention at the 5th Assembly of God Church, Brookfields in Freetown. The forum will discuss the successes and challenges of the church over the years and map the way forward for the advancement of the mission. The theme for this year's convention is the power of unity, taken from the book of Psalm 133. Abubakar Bangura reports.
The second biennial conference of the Western District Council of the Assemblies of God is coming at a time when the various churches within the district have seen this year 2016 as a new beginning for the district to rise and shine and be united and do great exploits to succeed in every aspect. The theme for this year's convention, Power of Unity, cannot be overemphasized, propelling force that ignited the enthusiasm to ensure they achieve the desired goals for a unified district that will stand the test of time. Chairman Western District Council Planning Committee Lansana Gome said the theme depicts three major facts, include the power of unity revokes individualism and promotes the general good over personal interest, appropriate responses to ensure future success, and the required knowledge to meet a given task. The chairman called on delegates to be open and frank to deliberate and have a remarkable convention. Representatives from parachurch organizations, including EFSL, PFSL, CCSL, Alliance of Full Gospel Ministers, among others, spoke about the relevance of power in unity, saying if the church is to make great impact in the nation, it should be united. They emphasized the need for effective deliberation through the principles of God's Word, as they will experience the power of God and be united. The theme is not only relevant for the Assemblies of God, but the entire body of Christ. Leaders coming together and speak with one voice for the total unity in the church and the country as a whole. They congratulated the leaders of the Western District Council for the convention, which will serve as a breakthrough for the advancement of the district. In her keynote address, Lavan Fatima Tabuya Kama described unity as the joy in agreement that should be seen in every church. She said if people are walking in unity, God commands His blessings to reign. Mrs. Buya Kamara commended the leaders and pastors of the Assemblies of God for their roles in the church and called on them to endeavor to keep the unity in the body of Christ through the bond of peace. She said as a district, they should arise for the light of God has come to shine. She said to keep the unity of the church, they should cultivate the attributes of the local church and to be professional in the way they do their business.
I want to remind yourselves, we have what it takes to move this nation to a mighty life. Procrastination is a thief of time. Arise and shine, for the light is come, and the glory of the Lord is visible upon you.
She said there should be a team spirit, share knowledge and skills, which will serve as a new beginning for the development of the western districts of the Assembly. Mrs. Buya Kamara noted that God is about to do a new thing in the denomination and encouraged members to contribute cheerfully to the advancement of the church. The official opening of this year's convention was done by the General Superintendent of the Assemblies of God Mission, Reverend Tommy Kwame Bangura, who admonished pastors and members of the denomination to be united if they want to do great exploits for the Lord and succeed. The convention ends on Friday, 24th of June 2016. SLBC News, Abubakar Bangura, Freetown.
Construction work for Multipurpose Complex at Sewa Grounds is in progress. This follows a subcontract of the project to a Chinese company by the main project contractor, MKD Jazz, for a timely delivery of the project. Princess Gibson made a follow-up visit to the project site at Sewa Grounds, and she now reports.
A few months ago, the pace of construction work for this multipurpose complex was not impressive, resulting to a lot of concerns from the public. This complex on completion will host a shopping center, open lock stores, banking hall, daycare center, among others. This project is an initiative by government to address street trading in the municipality. Therefore, the timely delivery is key. The involvement of the Chinese Global Group of Comlin with 400 workforce has seen a work in progress. During a conducted tour, construction of lower and upper grounds of lock-up market stalls to a total height of 72 meters was seen. Completion of 3 floors that is 3.8 meters wide, also to accommodate crowd. Ibrahim Bangura is the Deputy Projects Manager, Global Group of Comlin.
The only thing that can make us be efficient in terms of achieving the work here is for us to know we are working towards time, which we are aware of, and we already have a schedule that already gets a time management plan for the work here. So with all these heads around us, the challenges, I think they are work in progress. It's easy, we are going along with them. So the challenges are there, yes, but we are overcoming them, and surely we will acquire what is intended to be here.
But what is the quality assurance of the construction work done so far? Somba Isaac is a civil engineer of Capital Infrastructure Partners.
The quality is good. We've been tracking that one up, especially for the concrete. As you may realize, we have mostly the concrete. The structure members that we have are basically for concrete. We have columns, we have beams, we have slabs. Those are majorly what we are looking at, and they are done in concrete. We are doing a frame structure, and the concrete is good, as you might have seen.
The objective of this project clearly shows that time is of essence, which I also put to the engineer.
Projects are run on 3 basic things: quality, time, and cost management. So we are basically following up on those, and the contractor is but she has pushed. We are still within, but as I said, we still have a few challenges, especially the rains.
Sanusi Bruski is the managing director of MKD Jazz, a lead contractor for the Sewa Grounds project. After subcontracting the Chinese, I asked him for his impression with the level of work done so far.
Our objective then was to complete the street side, the ground floor and the first floor level, which we already accomplished. But not only accomplished that one, as you can see, we already start another foundation on the other side. And we are going now to the other level. So we already achieved our 100% level so far.
The Sewa Grounds Construction Project Manager, Winston Ojukutu Macaulay, told SLBC that with the work in progress, the project will be delivered within the stipulated time frame. Princess Gibson, SLBC News.
Children Advocacy Forum, Pekin to Pekin and Focus 1000, have concluded an orientation on immunization for market women and traditional healers in the Western area at the YWCA in Freetown. The aim of the orientation is to encourage market women and traditional healers to raise awareness on the need to go with their children for vaccination and ensure that pregnant women frequently visit the hospital. The orientation also aims at complementing the Ministry of Health's efforts in a Maternal and Child Health Week, which started on the 23rd of June. Let's now join Francis Danema for that report.
Women and traditional healers were orientated to help raise awareness on the need to ensure that every child, lactating mother and pregnant women benefit in this year's Mami and Pikin Well Body Week. Chief Executive Officer Focus 1000 Mohamed Diallo called on the beneficiaries to work with health workers so that every child will be vaccinated. He added that if everybody in the country can put hands on deck to fight mortality, the country will reduce infant and maternal mortality rates.
The life day at the foundation, you understand? The muscle then, they develop, the blood, and that's where they develop, the bone, even the attitude, the way they begin, they behave, all inside that first 1,000. Salon Ayaso, we get the way woman, they die in Ayaso because they get belay, or even for bone, it's 2 months.
The Executive Director of Children Advocacy Forum, Abdul Suare, described market women and traditional healers as important in disseminating health messages. He called on them to carry out the sensitization with love, patience, and compassion. The program manager Pikin to Pikin, Idris Tagawali, urged the market women to encourage their colleagues in the market who are pregnant, lactating mothers, or have children less than 5 years to participate fully in the Mami and Pikin Well Body Week. He reaffirmed his organization's commitment to monitor the whole process so that all beneficiaries will be reached.
That report by Francis Danema was read by Ibrahim Samuel. Civil Society Movement Sierra Leone has concluded training for representatives of civil society organizations ahead of the implementation of a 3-month project. The training aims to monitor social services of the Ministries of Education and Health that came to a halt during the Ebola outbreak. 20 participants from the Western Urban area attended. Frances Bernard was there and sent in this report.
The government of Sierra Leone and its partners in 2015 launched a national post-recovery project with the aim of working with relevant partners and communities to recover social services that came to a halt during the Ebola outbreak in the country. Civil society groups under the coordination of non-state actors secretariat were identified as key partners to contribute to the government of Sierra Leone and its partners in 2015 launched a national post-recovery project.
Sierra Leone Union on Disability Issues, SLODI, and Sight Savers International have ended a forum that aims at including persons with disability in the proposed health insurance scheme. Persons with disabilities have been calling on authorities to provide free health care for them, and the forum was held to seek support from stakeholders for their inclusion in the scheme. Let's join Francis Danema again. We'll bring you full details of that report tomorrow. The Reggae Union of Sierra Leone and the Reggae Company have commemorated the death of Sierra Leonean reggae legend Amara Kaba at the Sierra Leone National Museum. The event was also meant to popularize the annual Reggae Festival and Awards in Sierra Leone. Mayamadeke Kano reports.
The late Amara Kaba became a reggae legend in Sierra Leone. The late Amara Kaba was born in Makeni in 1962 and died in 2003. He was one of the three sons of their father who used to play accordion, which spurred Amara Kaba to become a musician. The Kaba brothers decided to form their own band, the Kabas. In 2003, Amara Kaba lost his life at the Lumley Beach. During the day of his funeral, you could hear his songs blasting from many speakers at every corner of the streets in Freetown. Chairman of the program, proprietor Culture Radio, Mohammed Elijah Gegra, describes reggae music as important in the lives of every Rastafarian, as it is the tool used to send their messages. He adds that it is a culture that exists against the normal status quo. The chairman says Rasta is not about politics, as Rastafarian life has a mix of misconception. Elijah continues that Rastafarians are coming from an angle that the world is not embracing. Interim Chairman Reggae Union Sierra Leone Ishmael Kamara says the mandate of the collaboration between Reggae Union and Rugged Company Limited Sierra Leone is to ensure responsible behavior during essential reggae dates and events. He adds that the collaboration is to encourage and motivate young people and reggae lovers to maintain the usual discipline and respect that reggae preaches, a positive way to address such strife and violence in the country. He also describes it as a catalyst and propellant of radical and dramatic peaceful transition and changes in Sierra Leone that would put the country firmly along the path of sustainable development, justice, and equality. Melvin Pratt from Reggae Union calls on Rastafarian colleagues to join hands together for the movement to be embraced in society, calling on his colleagues to appeal decently in public so that they would be respected in society. Country Director Rugged Sierra Leone Ibrahim Mara says this institution was established to promote reggae music in Sierra Leone. Mr. Mara calls on the Reggae Union to embrace what Rugged has to offer them. A memorandum of understanding was signed between Reggae Union and Rugged for the promotion of reggae music in Sierra Leone.
That report by Maya Madinke was read by Anne-Marie Gegbai. To end news are the closing headlines. Fire incident at the Ministry of Mines has left some documents in the office of the minister destroyed. Environment Protection Agency with Office of National Security have engaged disaster-prone communities on environmental disasters. Assistant Director of Research, Bank of Sierra Leone, Bangura, has said that dollarization has been an internal factor negatively affecting the national economy. And Chief Justice Abdullah Chan has launched the 2016 to 2021 strategic plan of the judiciary. That's all in this edition of News broadcast live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation in Freetown. On behalf of the news editor, Sheku Sumaila, my name is Mbalu Bangura. For more information about our programs, do send us an email to www.contactus.slbc.sl. Thanks for your attention. Good night.